On the Zoo, we go underground with porcupines Nyack and Onion. Surgery for a kaka shot with a slug gun.
It's such a badly deformed wing. It's terrible.
And a sea lion encounter goes high-tech.
Welcome to underwater sea lion encounter.
With the fine weather comes the high spirits of a typical day at Auckland Zoo. In the cooler corners, the coast's sleek inhabitants swim with effortless grace and speed. Keeper Joel Milicic loves being their advocate.
I feel really lucky to have a job and be in a position where I can really educate people about wildlife and some of the issues that are going on with wildlife, both here in New Zealand and overseas, and actually try and make a difference.
Seals and sea lions are smart and naturally inquisitive. So today, Joel's planning an underwater feed to keep them interested. As an entree, someone's getting a routine checkup first.
Okay, so this is Scuttles. Scuttles is our male Californian sea lion here at the zoo. The majority of stuff that we do with our guys are husbandry behaviours. Just things like being able to open up their mouths and look inside to check their gums and check their teeth and just make sure that's all right. Doing things like lifting up their flippers. This one. Good boy, to be able to check the base of their flippers. So these guys use their flippers a lot, especially walking around on the ground, and they can get a lot of rubs and scuffs and things like that. So always throughout the day checking on them to make sure they haven't got any problems we need to know about, and also being really tactile with these guys. So having these guys used to just being rubbed all over, again checking their stomachs to make sure that there's no cuts or grazes we need to know about, and getting these guys used to just being rubbed all over. If we ever have to have the vets come down and have a look, these guys are used to this kind of thing. So, hey, good boy.
Visitors can watch the 4 fur seals and 2 sea lions on the surface and from below. It's here where their majestic power in the water stands out. In the open sea, adult sea lions can sprint up to 40 kilometres an hour, but they mostly cruise about 16 k's. Even more impressive is their ability to stay underwater for up to 40 minutes, making seals true Olympians of the animal kingdom.
There's nothing more enjoyable than going underwater with them and being in their realm, and they're just beautiful to be with and to work with underwater. So it's a fantastic opportunity to go down and to be able to connect what we do in there with the people on the other side of the window.
Sea lion encounters have traditionally happened up on the rock outcrops, but Joel has plans to expand on this. The zoo is always evolving, and there's no better example than the newest, largest exhibit, Te Waunui. Andrew Nelson is team leader for New Zealand Birds, and he's thrilled with how everyone's settled in.
Te Wanui's been open now for 5 months, and the animals have started breeding, which is fantastic. So bellbirds at the moment flying around. We put 2 in here, and they've already had 2 clutches of chicks, so we've got their offspring. We've had some great response from the public over the summer. They really enjoyed the new environments that we've created. So yeah, it's been incredibly successful. It's fantastic to have all the birds in their big aviaries now, and just amazing to be able to be so close to tuis as they're singing, or bellbirds as they're moving through the trees finding berries, or the kaka flying overhead. We're down here in the forest aviary of Te Waunui, just with our resident kaka, just having their morning breakfast. Kaka are an amazing bird. You know, they do well in a range of habitats. As a parrot, they're a really smart bird, so they're quite inquisitive. They've got a feather-tipped tongue like a tui, so they can get into things like flowers and nectar and forest fruits. But unfortunately today, we've had a kaka come in from the wild that's been shot. And so we're going up to visit the vet team and just see how the bird is, and importantly, just try and clean up the wound from the injury. You weren't meant to take it all.
Up at the surgery, X-rays reveal the bullet is lodged near the backbone of this beautiful bird.
The bullet wound's actually gone through his upper arm and broken the bone, and that's not repaired well. It's all an open fracture. But then the bullet's travelled across the bird's back, nicked its spine and embedded just under the skin. But just looking at the injury, I don't think we'll be able to repair the wing, so he's never going to fly again, annoyingly.
Naturally, the injured kaka is very frightened, so Melanie quickly gets him to zoo locum vet Paul.
So we're just starting to anaesthetise this kaka. We've just got him on a face mask at the moment. Once he's a bit deeper under anaesthetic, then we'll be able to place a tube into his airways, and that'll just help us with maintaining him under the anaesthetic.
The vet team here have taken a lot of care, but you can sort of see it's quite stressful. Putting the bird under the general anaesthetic's always risky, or any animal for that matter. And it's just so sad to see that this is completely because of someone's careless act.
The pellet's clearly visible under the kaka's skin. Under the eye of Andrew and the media, Paul goes to work.
So it's very superficial, which is good. It means we don't have to dissect through too much tissue to actually get it out. There we go. So we're just going to stitch the hole closed now, and literally only take one stitch in there. And we'll just use some absorbable suture material. So that means we don't have to catch this bird up at a later date to take the stitches out. They'll just dissolve away in their own time. Man, it's such a badly deformed wing. It's terrible. For him to have survived out there with that particular sort of injury as well is pretty remarkable. It's amazing what wild animals can deal with sometimes, you know, they're phenomenal.
Just he's moving his head.
Yeah, he's pretty light. So yeah, we'll pop him into a small pet box and put him in a nice dark warm room to recover. So that he's got a bit of space, a bit of peace and quiet.
A crowd of keen fans are waiting for a glimpse of Auckland Zoo's two porcupines, Nyack and Onion. Maybe some encouragement is required. Food.
Hey, Onion. Want to come out for breakfast?
The prickly creatures aren't exactly cuddly, but carnivore keeper Emma Wells adores them all the same.
They're very different, they're quite unusual. People don't tend to see them that often. And they've just got great personalities. The two that we're working with now, they're great characters, they're very friendly, so I do love working with them.
Porcupines are semi-nocturnal and are actually rodents, one of the biggest. Those famous quills are a defence mechanism. Every animal knows to stay away or quickly learns to.
Okay, so this is Nyack. He's our male African crested porcupine. He's a lovely little guy. He's been with us for a number of years now. You can see here he's actually lost his left eye a good few months ago now when the female Onion arrived. Unfortunately, he got a little bit too close to her quills and got a quill in his eye. And despite our best efforts, he lost his eye.
Despite the rocky start, this prickly pair now have a great relationship. So much so, Emma has a special reason for wanting to lure Onion out of the den and onto some scales.
Onion, come on. The real reason I want to weigh her is we think she's pregnant, which is a first for Auckland Zoo. Very, very exciting. So I want to get a weight off her. I'll be weighing her every week just to monitor her weight, see if it's going up or not.
Testing faecal samples for hormone levels is the best way to confirm a pregnancy. But with two porcupines at the zoo, Emma needs to be sure whose poos is whose.
So what I'm doing is putting sesame seeds in with her banana, and that way when we see her poo, it's got sesame seeds in it. We know it's going to be Onions and not Nyacks. So we'll give that a dip in there. Onion, come on. Good girl. Good lady. Come on, good girl. You've been up here before. And how much do you weigh? You're still the same weight, huh? Good girl.
Emma might get some more clues about Onion's condition if she can see what they're doing underground. She's got just the thing to help her get a closer look.
Over the last few days, they've dug all under the ground here. And there's this massive chamber under me at the moment. So basically, we can't see where they're going, we can't see where they're digging. So we've got this camera that we're going to put down the hole. see where they've dug, see if we've got an actual nesting chamber. And then if they do give birth down here, it's going to be a way that we can monitor the babies and make sure they're okay and see what we've got, really.
Auckland Zoo is a photographer's dream, professional and amateur. Over at Te Wānui, the New Zealand birds are thriving in their brand new home. For keeper Andrew and his team, early signs of breeding aren't always what they seem.
With bringing all the birds back into a big aviary like this, there's always a few surprises. We thought we had 2 male tui from DNA sexing, but with working the aviary, we found a nest that suspiciously looks like a tui, so we're going to have to re-sex those birds just to confirm that test. We're having fun with the bellbirds. They're nesting really well, so we're trying to find them. They're a classic little personality there of mum and dad bellbird.
But the biggest personality in Te Wānui belongs to this giant wader.
We're down here in the wetlands aviary, and Matuku's one of those, I guess, birds that have been enjoying the new aviary. He's had a lot of herons interacting with him in the area, and so he's done what a male heron does. In the beginning of the breeding season, he started making a nest. And he's decided that the eel enclosure rafters here make a great place to make a nest. He's trying hard, he's got the basics down, he's trying to wedge his sticks into the structure to anchor it, but he's just not having any success, and they keep falling into the enclosure. So he's got really well adapted at grabbing the floating nesting material off the top of the eels.
That means the nest is something of a shambles, and that's made Matuku a little bit grumpy.
The people he sees day to day and who really cramp his style are the keepers that have come down. So he's got quite feisty and quite open at telling them to go away and stay away.
No, stop it.
And if they don't really listen to him, he'll back that up with really trying to have a bit of a peck or chase them off. So it's been a bit of fun for the staff in trying to manage this space and Matuku.
With a barrier in place to give Matuku some privacy and space, Andrew hopes the heron will rethink his nest. Te Wānui's resident kakas are as busy as ever, blissfully unaware of their injured cousin's troubles. Being shot on Great Barrier Island means he'll never fly again, but he can enjoy a fulfilling life nonetheless.
Unfortunately, because he can't fly, he can't go back to the wild. So we're going to look at placing him with one of the partners that is part of the kaka breeding program. So he'll end up in another captive facility where we'll be able to make sure he has a nice, safe life and is looked after well. And importantly, we can tell his story to make sure that there's not more kaka, or importantly, any other New Zealand wildlife that's injured by people. The goal was to always try and show our incredible animals off to the visitors of the zoo. And so it's been a great success at that. You know, I think we can definitely do more, and that's going to be the fun challenge going forward, make the most of this great facility.
Over at the seals and sea lions, there's high tech and high hopes for keeper Joel and gadget wizard Hayden Salmons. They're testing out a brand new underwater communication system.
We've got these very cool masks which are going to allow us to actually talk and relay through our normal PA system, so that we're going to be able to communicate with people at the window, so we can talk about what we're doing in the water and just offer people a really different and a really awesome experience with us down there.
This system is already used by NIWA, Navy and commercial divers. Joel hopes that by harnessing the technology, visitors can have an even more educational experience. Joel's voice is relayed by a receiver in the water itself, which carries the sound to a PA in the viewing area where Odin's on comms.
Hey mate, should we run through some tests, see if I can hear you?
Yeah, sounds good.
Awesome, mate. Nice and clear.
Okay, do you guys let us know what you want to do? It'd be quite good to test the PA system just to see if it's going to work.
Sweet. Are you guys ready for me to bring the seals out?
Yeah, mate. What I'll get you to do is bring Kipper out, and then we'll do scuttles after that.
Cool, mate. I'll bring Kipper out and see you shortly.
Kipper will be Joel's leading lady for today's test run.
Whoa! Oh my gosh, that's such a perfect photo. It's gorgeous, hey!
The visitors are clearly impressed, but Joel's still got some technical issues to resolve before showtime.
Just was a little bit difficult to push the button on my mask and feed scuttles at the same time. So we'll do a little bit of work with that, and once it's going well, it'll be ready for the public to see really soon.
But that's not the only exciting development today. Keeper Emma has a very good feeling about Onion the porcupine.
The other morning I came past and I saw a head pop out of one of the burrows, which is very unusual. Normally they'd be asleep inside at that time of the morning, but they'd obviously been working all night on their tunnel. So it's a really good sign that their behaviour's changing, they're getting ready for the birth.
Emma's been filming Onion and Nyak's midnight mining to see if all this digging will end with treasure. Brand new zoo babies.
This is great. This is exactly what we wanted to see. I've seen both Nyack and Onion in here. They're digging away like mad, which is a really natural behaviour. They've had a ball. They've dug an enormous burrow. They've chewed a lot of the framework for the tunnel as well. And obviously we don't see them doing anything during the day, so to see them actually active at night is just wonderful for us. So this footage is going to be really, really valuable. Tomorrow is the due date, but who knows? It could be tonight, it could be in a week's time. We just don't know. So we're just going to have to keep monitoring and wait and see. We'll probably come in one morning and find we've got babies.
It's time for a spot of exercise, and across Auckland Zoo, the animals are stretching their legs, arms, tails, and wings. After digging a breeding burrow, Onion and Nyack have finally come up for air, like nothing ever happened. Zoo visitors are happy to see the pair up and about, but Keeper Emma has mixed emotions.
Onion went over her expected due date, so I just wanted to follow up and see what was going on. So I've just got this email from the woman who did our fecal hormone sampling for the porcupines, and you can see really clearly all the estrus cycles she's had, all these ones here, and then we've got this massive spike in the middle. So what that suggests is that she actually was pregnant, but unfortunately it looks like she's miscarried. Don't know why at this stage, but we know she's cycling again, so that's a positive sign. It's also positive that we know that she did get pregnant. Shame that nothing came of it this time, but we know that for the future she can breed, so fingers crossed for next time.
Fingers and flippers are also crossed over at the coast, where Joel's gearing up for the zoo's first official underwater encounter.
So the first time we tried the underwater mask, we had a few hiccups with the audio, wasn't too clear. So lately we've just been doing a little bit of work with it, and we're pretty confident that it's sounding really good. So today we're going to go down and give it another shot and take Scuttles with us and go down and hopefully give an encounter to the people at the window who are waiting.
The mask allows Joel to talk visitors through the problems faced by our marine life while underwater. Scuttles is about to take centre stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Auckland Zoo and to our underwater sea lion encounter. My name's Joel, and here with me our male Californian sea lion. Sea lions are extremely agile under the water. They can swim very, very fast. Some of the biggest threats facing seals and sea lions in the world are things like marine debris.
All of us Kiwis love going to the beach and hanging around New Zealand's coastline, but what a lot of people don't know is that bits of litter, like a plastic bag or a small piece of fishing nylon, get left behind at the beach and unfortunately find their way out to the ocean and get stuck around a seal's neck or around a dolphin's fin and cause some really unfortunate and detrimental effects for these guys.
It was amazing.
Oh, it was an amazing display. I'm just here at the zoo for the first time in probably about 25 years, and it's really good to see all the animals in the natural environment, and the seals are just amazing.
Yeah, so this is just going to be such a good tool to really connect with people in a different way. You know, this is a really unique experience, and it's just going to be such a fantastic way of connecting people with wildlife and some of the conservation issues that are facing these guys to get that really amazing visual image of these guys underwater and interacting with them. So it's going to be great.